Fort, the Battle of the Yeti and the Werewolves. Prologue. Long ago, deep in the Carpathian Mountains, two mighty tribes lived. The Yeti, giant, hairy creatures who ruled the icy peaks, and the werewolves, shapeshifters who reigned over the dark forests. These two peoples coexisted for centuries without open conflict, but one dreadful night changed everything. Harbingers of War. That year, winter was cruel. Snow blanketed the peaks, and icy winds mercilessly battered the land. The werewolves, who usually hunted in the forest, began to experience a shortage of prey. Their leader, Blackfang, ordered his warriors to climb higher, into Yeti territory, where, according to legend, ancient caves hid caches of food. One deep night, a pack of werewolves stepped onto the snow-covered trails, moving toward the icy caves. They moved silently, their sharp claws slicing through the snow, their bright eyes burning in the darkness. But the Yeti were watchful. A sentry named Stormbreaker was the first to spot the intruders. He roared, summoning his brethren to defend their sacred grounds. The first clash. The first skirmish took place on a narrow ledge. The werewolves lunged at the Yeti, hoping to tear them apart with their sharp fangs. But the giants were not defenseless. Their powerful arms crushed their enemies, and their ice-forged weapons slashed through the dark fur of the werewolves. Heavy blows sent the attackers tumbling into the abyss. However, the werewolves did not retreat. They quickly realized that a frontal assault was futile. Blackfang ordered a tactical withdrawal, but it was only a trick. The werewolves had a new plan: to lure the Yeti into the forest, where darkness and narrow paths would give them the advantage. The trap in the forest. The next evening, as the frost-laden wind howled through the mountains, Blackfang and his warriors attacked again. But this time, they did not fight to the end. They fell back, forcing the Yeti to pursue them. The giants followed, unaware that they were being led into the very heart of the werewolves' domain. Among the dense trees, where moonlight barely pierced the canopy, a new danger awaited the Yeti. The werewolves had used their cunning. They set traps, dug pits, and stretched sharp stakes along the paths. One by one, the Yeti began to fall into the ambush. Retribution and the Great Confrontation. But the Yeti were not fools. Their leader, Old Frost, had foreseen such a trap. He led his warriors around in a flanking maneuver, ambushing the werewolves from behind. Just when the shapeshifters thought the battle was going their way, the snow giants emerged from the trees. A brutal battle erupted. The howls of the werewolves and the roars of the Yeti merged into a single terrifying chorus. The werewolves leaped from the branches, biting at their enemies' throats. The Yeti retaliated with bone-shattering blows that shook the ground. The fight raged on until dawn. When the first rays of the sun pierced through the clouds, both tribes stood exhausted. They realized that if the battle continued, both sides would be annihilated. The Peace Treaty. Then Blackfang and Old Frost met in the middle of the battlefield. They stared at each other in silence, understanding that the war had been futile. Finally, Blackfang spoke first. "This land is vast enough for both of us. We can live side by side without shedding more blood." Old Frost nodded. "You are brave, werewolf. Let our people fight no more. We will grant you part of our land, and you will leave us in peace." Thus, a peace treaty was forged between the Yeti and the werewolves. From that day forth, they never waged war again. But the memory of that battle remained in legend, a tale still told to travelers in the mountains. It is said that if one climbs high into the Carpathians on a winter night, they may hear the echoes of that battle, the roar of giants and the howls of werewolves forever lingering in the snow and forests.